Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard. I am your host, Smokey. Alex is still on safari out in the Serengeti somewhere. Haven't heard from him in months. Who knows if he's okay? No, I'm just kidding. He has sent in his picks for this week. He just can't quite get to a place to record with us. So I will be flying solo, and we're going to talk about the conference championships for the NFL. But before we jump into that, let's talk about our picks from last week. Looks like Alex got one on me last week. Unfortunately, I lost my one-game lead that I had. So we are now tied up once again. Our disagreement last week was on the Rams and the Eagles. Looks like nothing's going to stop the Rams from getting to a Super Bowl unless the Commanders can pull off another upset win this week. But that was our disagreement. We agreed on the other three games. We both lost out on the Lions because, like I said, the Commanders pulled off that upset win. Unfortunately, we didn't get that one. So, 3 games to Alex, 2 games for me. That puts us back tied once again on the entire season at 203 each. Only 3 games left in this 2024/2025 season. I'm going to have to pull ahead, or maybe Alex pulls ahead, and maybe we settle it in the Super Bowl. Who knows? But here we are. We're going to jump into this week's slate of games. Only 2 games. Obviously, it's the championship, so let's get into it. We're starting out Sunday with the Commanders and the Eagles. This should really be exciting. I know that the Commanders are going to be underdogs once again. I assume so. I haven't looked at any betting lines, but I assume the Commanders are underdogs here, especially that it's being played in Philly. And the Eagles have this winning streak that's going on that's almost ridiculous at this point. It's mostly Saquon Barkley, I suppose. Jalen Hurts is playing decently, but he's not setting the world on fire, so we can owe most of this success to Saquon Barkley, because we know what happened last year. They didn't have a Saquon Barkley. They didn't have a dominant running back like that. I believe they were using DeAndre Swift, and we know how his career has gone this far. At one point in time, he was showing elite promise, but hasn't been so much over the past 3 or 4 seasons, and now they have probably the best running back in the league. Christian McCaffrey may have had something to say for it, but he has only played like 1 game this entire season, so we can't really give that title to him at this point in time. Saquon Barkley is the man as far as running backs go in the NFL. So that's the reason for their success. They still have the tush push. They have a great defensive unit. I mean, guys like Zach Bond and Jalen Carter, and mostly all of the Georgia's greats of the past when they were winning national championships. Like a great deal of those defensive guys are on this team. This is an elite defensive unit. And being as young as the Commanders are, and Jaden Daniels still being a rookie, now it would be a wonderful feat if a rookie reaches the Super Bowl. That would be absolutely amazing. I don't think it's ever happened in the history of the NFL. This is Jaden Daniels' chance to break that record right there. You can get to the Super Bowl, you're setting some kind of phenomenal feat that may never be touched on again. We don't know that because rookies are more and more valuable, and there is a reason for that. I'll go on a little tangent right here. The reason for rookies being so valuable in their first season, I mean, obviously the rookies, it has to be the first season, but the reason they are, as of now, is because of the way college football has changed. Not only are college teams playing more of a pro style, did I say playing more of a pro style, but also because of the COVID year and then the transfer portal and NIL, players are staying in college much longer than they would have in the past. The optimal situation for any player really in college football of the past was to go excel for 3 years, go straight to the NFL. So there's NFL guys that come into the league 19, as young as 19, 20, maybe 21 is a little over the average at that point. But now we're seeing players who spend 4, 5, 6. There's college football players that spend 7 years in college now because they can get these exemptions. They can stay there. They had that extra year from COVID. And through the NIL and the transfer portal, it makes them money and they stay there longer. They are more developed when they come into the league. So we can see guys like Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, who have 5 or more years of experience in college, come to the NFL as a rookie and absolutely succeed because they are almost veterans by the time they are rookies. That's the Jaden Daniels thing. He is a phenomenal quarterback. He is a legit dual threat, and his passing abilities have gotten better and better. Say what you will about his slight frame. I know that was a big point of contention in the draft, that he is not quite thick enough to hold up to the abuse of being an NFL quarterback, but he has made well of it. It has not bothered him all. From what I've seen, and this is a team that people expected to be at the bottom of the division. Here they are playing in the conference championship against a divisional rivalry. This is crazy. This is phenomenal what the Commanders are doing. If I haven't said phenomenal enough already this episode, but it's great, and it's great to see. And the Commanders are the underdog team that people want to root for because we haven't seen them, I don't know, since the 90s go very far. I mean, when is the last time the Washington team, whatever they were called at the time, have made it to the Super Bowl? It would be a good team to root for. Is this not, if we see the Commanders or the Washington team play the Bills in the Super Bowl, has this not happened since the early 90s when the Bills were on that 4 Super Bowl streak, of which they won none, but they went there 4 times in a row, came up empty-handed. I believe one of those losses was to the Washington team. As I am looking it up right now as I'm speaking to you, yes, it was Super Bowl 26. Wow, that was a long time ago. Super Bowl 26 was between the Washington team and the Buffalo Bills, and 37-24, the Washington team won. That was the 1991 season. Also, the last time that Washington played Philadelphia in the postseason was for the 1990 season. Isn't this amazing? This is history repeating itself right here. I would love nothing more than to see the Commanders versus the Bills in the Super Bowl. That would make my day, that would make my week, that would make my Super Bowl. It'd be great to see. The world has Eagles fatigue at this point, and we definitely have Chiefs fatigue at this point, especially with all the helps that the Chiefs gets from the refs. They're being called the Kansas City refs at this point because it's like the refs just take over the game and make sure that the Chiefs win because the NFL loves dynasties. But we'll talk about that a little later. Like I said, we have Eagles fatigue at this point. They've been to 2 Super Bowls recently, won one of them, which it was also great to see because they beat the Patriots. So kind of the world was behind the Eagles on that one. They had Patriots fatigue at this time. The Chiefs are the new Patriots. But either way, you grow tired of seeing the same teams make it to the Super Bowl over and over again. There's like 4 teams that just keep mixing up the combinations for Super Bowls at this point in time. So we want to see something different. That's why that Rams and Bengals season was so fun to watch. Because it's teams that we don't have to watch every single season play in the Super Bowl. Quarterbacks that don't seem protected by the NFL because they're the biggest money makers. That was like an anomaly at this point. Because for the past 25 years, we've had to watch NFL sheltered quarterbacks play in the Super Bowl almost every season, it feels like. There's one-offs here and there, and it makes the Super Bowl feel just a little more fun. We don't want to see the NFL-protected quarterbacks out there, the NFL-protected teams out there, but it feels like that's what we're headed toward again for this Super Bowl. Let's hope for the Underdog Bowl, for our once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity that we get every now and then. But here's the thing. I want the Commanders to win. but I can't really pick them because the Eagles' defense just seems too dominant, and the Commanders are not used to this situation. The Eagles are. Man, that defense is so good. Every team in the league wishes they had Jalen Carter right now. Like I said, Zach Bond is amazing. Even Cooper DeJean is showing up. Their rookie that they picked. This is a great team. This is a great defense. And the offense, with the best running back in the league, is not a bad team whatsoever. Not a bad offense. Great defense. Man, they seem unstoppable. It seems like an insurmountable task for the Commanders to do this, so I will be picking the Eagles. Alex is picking the Eagles also, but he has noted that he wants the Commanders to win also. He also wants the Commanders and Bills to play in the championship. We'll see what happens. Yep, picking the Eagles here. Let's go on to the Bills and the Chiefs. I've mentioned the Chiefs several times already. We know all about this. The refs help the Bills win. That's the fatigue, right? Because we think the Chiefs are not as good as their record, but somehow, every time a team comes along that could put down the Chiefs, they get stopped by the refs. There's always these questionable calls that just gives it to the refs in the fans' eyes. Now, whether you are a football pro, you played the game or whatever, and you don't believe in this kind of stuff, you don't believe in the rigging of games, which I don't believe this whole scripted narrative that the NFL is all scripted. Somehow they write out every play that's supposed to happen, and Patrick Mahomes is supposed to win, right? I don't believe in all that garbage. I believe these games are actually played, but I also do believe that there are teams that are absolutely protected by the NFL. And I think they will sway games in the favor of these teams because that makes them money. You know, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid and Taylor Swift, you know, all of this stuff makes the NFL tons and tons of money, so they're going to protect their asset. No touching our favorite quarterback. That's Patrick Mahomes. You can flatline Jaden Daniels. No flag. If you breathe on Patrick Mahomes, you're getting a flag. People hate watching this stuff. We're addicted to football. We're addicted to the NFL. We can't stop watching, and they know that. So they can blatantly do this stuff right in our face, and not much we will do about it because we're going to continue to watch. The Super Bowl is the most watched sporting event in the world each year. So what do they care? They're not going to stop doing it, in my opinion. A massive walkout or a massive turn down in the ratings may put a stop to it, but is that going to happen? Very unlikely. So the only way you're going to take out the Chiefs is the Bills, much like they did early in their season, are going to have to go into Kansas City. And I believe that one was at home earlier, so that was a tick in the favor of the Bills anyway. But much like they did early in their season, you have to shut them down offensively quickly. You have to get out in front. You know that as much as we talk about the NFL protecting these guys, they're still an elite, very, very experienced offense, and they have a really good defense. It's not easy to beat the Chiefs. If there was no ref involvement and they called a completely clean game, you still have to be a really great team to beat the Chiefs. Unfortunately, that's just life. The Bills are a really great team. When they played the Ravens, that game came down to who made the fewest mistakes. The Ravens' offense was actually working much better than the Bills' offense was. They were making moves. They were getting down there. It just came down to the mistakes. There was that one early interception, and then after that it came to drops and fumbles. How many times have we seen good teams go down because of drops, fumbles, and interceptions? That's what happened to the Ravens. You know, it's either the Ravens or the Bills that blow it in the big game every single year, and that's the talking point by the media after that. Well, this team will never get over the hump. And that's going to be the same thing with the Bills this week if they lose to the Chiefs. It's going to be the talk of the town. Like, the Bills will never win the big one. They'll never get to the Super Bowl again. It's been 34 years. Like, the people don't believe it at this point in time until they see it happen on the field. Bills has to go in there and dominate this team from beginning to end. They have to move the ball. They have to run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball for sure. James Cook and the rest, they're going to have to get the ball moving. Josh Allen is going to have to go out there and play hero ball. He's going to have to throw into tight windows. I know he doesn't have the best lineup of wide receivers in the NFL, but he's going to have to make do with what he has. That's why he is going to be the MVP, is because he is the best quarterback in the NFL. Say what you will about Patrick Mahomes. The past 2 to 3 seasons, he has not been the best quarterback in the NFL. He's been the most winning quarterback in the NFL. He is not the best. Josh Allen, at this point in time, is the best. And this is a matchup that has happened season after season after season because these are the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. It's a titanic battle that seems to take place in the postseason and often in the middle of the season. Every single season, the Bills tend to win the first one. The Chiefs tend to win the postseason when it really matters. Josh Allen is never going to get over that hump with the media until he beats the Chiefs in the postseason, regardless of what happens in the regular season. You can beat the Chiefs 2-3 seasons in a row in the regular season. People aren't going to care until you do it in the postseason. One more time, we get the chance to see that happen. The Bills have to take this one. Alex is picking the Chiefs. I am going to go with the Bills. I know it doesn't feel right, but I'm saying somebody has to do it. Maybe, just maybe, the NFL is taking note that people have Chiefs fatigue. I would like to think so, but then again, we never saw it with the Patriots until Tom Brady left. They never stopped protecting Tom Brady, and they probably won't here, but it's wishful thinking. I'm hoping that the NFL will let this be a clean game and let the best team win. And I think the best team overall is the Bills right now, regardless of the no-name offense outside of Josh Allen and James Cook. The no-name receiving core, I should say, and that includes the tight ends. They're decent players. They're not elite players. The Chiefs have aging elite players at this point. Well, really just Kelsey and that defense. But they are elite in many ways. They're just aging. I guess I can't waffle on about it anymore. I'm picking the Bills. Alex is picking the Chiefs. I just want to see something other than Eagles versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl once again. And a three-peat is not good for the fatigue of the fans watching, unless you're a Chiefs fan. And then, of course, you want to see it. But the rest of the world does not. And at some point, you got to look at it, even as a Chiefs fan, you got to look at it and say, I understand. We've won a ton. We may catch the Patriots one day. We may hit that 6 Super Bowl rings or whatever. Mahomes may outdo Tom Brady by the end of his season. But you have to understand that the rest of the football world is sick of it. They're tired of seeing it. That's just human nature. All right. Alex picking the Chiefs. That's our disagreement. We'll see who wins this one this week. Hey, I guess that's all for this week. Only 2 games to talk about. Maybe Alex will come back and we'll talk about the all-rookie team. We'll talk about NFL honors or something like that. We'll see if he ever gets back or if he's been eaten by a lion out on the Serengeti. I'll have to send him a line, see what's up. Thank you for tuning in this week. If you like this kind of stuff, give us a thumbs up. If you really want to hear more, subscribe to the channel. I do this every week. Sometimes Alex does also. Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back sooner or later. Hopefully by the start of UFL or something, maybe. We'll see. Thank you for tuning in. I am Smokey, and I'll see you next week. Deuces.